so I can hold my phone away and people don't complain that I'm too loud, John.
Oh, he's here too.
I know.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah. But it's the hurry up and wait game.
Yes. We're ready to go. We just got to wait for the small children in their small cars to go.
Let's see.
But,
That is horrible. I'm so sorry about that. We're gonna go back to the normal zoom and be like, yeah,
oh, here I am.
that wasn't zoomed in on your nostril. Relax. But no, he's gonna be stuck out here getting into his car himself because I'm disappearing into my cave. But
Yeah, no, we went over the car. Hopefully we'll figure this out why it's not running 100%.
I'll
find out in the first practice.
Sounds better.
A little bit once.
Yeah, but Robin's racing.
Right. And so,
Anyways,
all right.
hi.
Welcome back. We raced this past weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day to all. let's see. What did we do since the last video?
Well, you replaced the plugs,
We did
the wires.
we got a new set of wires. I actually put the extra second fan that I finally found.
It was like, you know,
Hid it in plain sight. I'm just going to say it that way.
it was put in a safe place.
Went over everything. Rewired, redid the ignition wires. Got a nice set. Did the normal maintenance pre-check. Put everything where it's supposed to be. Nothing really changed. So I was. Because I know the last weekend, the last race, we were talking about the car wasn't really handling properly. I swapped tires. I don't know if we talked about it and stuff like that. I had put on an old set of that we're going to use in practice, which we ran last year. Ran during the open practices. Ran good. I didn't like it. Went back to my normal race tires and stuff like that. Was decent. No complaints. Car came in and stuff like that. So this practice, went out there. First round of practice, for me, car felt good.
And looking at
very,
the times,
very consistent.
yeah,
13.8s, 13.9 in that area. Again, practice. I'm not a guy who likes to practice. I like to run, but if I don't have that carrot in front of me that I have to chase down, I have a very hard time making speed. Because I don't get up on the wheel.
He doesn't race practice.
No, I don't race practice. I shake the car down, make sure it feels good, and then go like that. So practice times to me are a good indicator, but I'm still not good enough as a driver to go out there and push the car to its limit to say, oh, I need to make an adjustment. I'm a little tight, I'm a little loose. That's on me. But the car felt good. So after 2 rounds of practice and stuff like that, engine ran a little bit. It ran better, but then I think that I have a carburation issue. I think I'm running it lean on part throttle. So it wasn't until I realized that I got a really wide open throttle that it had better response. But I still got to fix the mid-range of the carburetors.
From what I heard, in my unprofessional opinion and not a car person, it definitely sounded cleaner.
Yeah.
It wasn't breaking up.
Right.
As you're going down
I'm thinking as a mechanic is an ignition problem. Watch out. There's a moth, not a skipper. That's it. That's all.
Sorry,
Anyway.
I was delving into entomology.
I
think it's entomology. Etymology.
So I'm gonna go through the fuel system. I did look at the tank. I don't see anything in there. Fuel filter I know is clean, or my assumption is that is clean. I will go through that. I'm gonna go through the carburetors. I want to make sure. I have a bunch of other carburetors that I'm gonna go through and check my jet sizing. That's my list of to-do things.
No, I'm not looking at the list. I'm trying to look for the pile of carburetors.
Oh, they're all over. I put one up here in this plastic bag. I have one in a case over here.
That plastic tub under there.
They're all over the place. I got it set off of Jaden's old engine.
We have, what was it, 15 sets of carbs?
I don't think that much. Close, but I don't.
We had 12 engines and we had extra carbs.
It's like a fisherman's tale. They're getting more and more by the whole we talk about it. I haven't gained any more. So car's running good. I handle it good. I'm learning how to now trust it a little bit more. So my heat race, I was supposed to start 6th.
Yes.
One of the competitors decided to start in the rear, so I moved to the 5th spot.
Which worked because you started on the inside, and
which I like starting on the inside.
I'm always more comfortable when you start on the inside.
The outside groove at Riverhead is hit or miss. So, anyway, we had 3 fast guys to my right. We had
Moore? Was he in your heat?
No.
Or was it Riley?
No.
I know Braun was in your heat.
Braun, Chevy, and Elwood.
Possibly. I have the heat lineup of
Anyway.
who was in the heat.
3 fast guys. And then we had a couple of, obviously, other guys and stuff like that. So, those 3 fast guys took off. So, the guy who started on the pole had no shot of, maybe would have led across the start finish line, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything because he's new to the division. He's been racing before.
It's the same way that if you manage to start on the pole and hold for like a lap, we're proud. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
It's just
I'm
that
not bad-mouthing anybody.
it is just the difference in speed.
He did what he could do.
And he didn't cause problems for everybody as they were passing him. That's
a clean race. So the 3 guys went up there. I kind of fell back because I was starting behind him.
And then I think you missed a turn and you got to the outside and fell back.
Yeah. So, second part of the heat race, I was in a qualifying spot, and I was trying to pass, and we had a good side-by-side battle. So, good racing. We went over to each other and said, hey, that was great, no problem. Stuff like that, no problems whatsoever. He's getting the hang of these cars. I'm getting the hang of these cars. Because he's probably a third my age. But again, we both, we both, said to each other that was great racing. That's what we were here about. Battling for a transfer spot, 5th to 6th or whatever, or trying for wins eventually. You know what? There's great battles within. You got to put yourself in perspective of what you're trying to do. We had a good time. We were able to compliment each other and say that was great, that was fun, that was excellent. And that's what racing's about.
Somebody found the inside groove, the inner inside groove.
I found the inside groove. And
My anxiety went through the roof.
Drifting.
Yeah, it's a good thing you have practice with that with your first full season.
And it's called controlled chaos or. Car control.
No. We're going with controlled chaos because I was waiting for him to spin out for like 3 full laps because he has two wheels below the like banking to the flat, and his rear looks like it's about to snap. You have the commentators going, "Oh, Statlander's loose," and then I'm like, "Oh."
You ever hear Ajita? As I always do.
And of course, because that was like the battle that was happening, because it was for the transfer spot, you had the camera on it the entire time.
I was putting on the show. Come on.
The human highlight reel over here.
And this was a good one, not a bad one.
Yeah.
But no, I finished 6th. I started 5th, finished 6th. I should have had 5th, but I'm not going to wreck anybody.
No, it was a good race at that point, and you got in. That was the important thing.
We made the feature again, which is always the goal for every night. Again, we talk about it all the time. When we first started this, 4 years ago? 3.5 years ago?
No, this is our 4th full season, I think.
Whatever. There was like 12 to 15 guys who are guaranteed in the feature. Now we have 20 that are like,
barring a mechanical problem, they're guaranteed.
They're that fast.
Unless you put them all in one heat and then, somebody ends up in the consi.
But now we have 20. So I'm just on the outside of that racing capacity. I think the car is there now.
It's just getting your consistency up.
When people race, if I take my car out onto the racetrack, I'm out there by myself, or I'm out there with 3 other competitors, we get wide open spaces, it's easy to run fast. But when you're trying to set up somebody to pass them, it's a completely different mindset game of they're not just going to let you go by. So you have to fight and get your car into positions that aren't the fastest for you.
It's that balance of trying to push them to make a slight mistake while not making a mistake yourself.
Right. And I'm not a believer at this level of my driving capability of the bump and run or run them over. I'm not there for that.
That's why these bumper tabs are always straight.
Well, unless I get into an accident and somebody pushes me or pushes me
yes.
into them. But, which again,
when you get sandwiched, that's a different story.
So anyway, we qualified. In my mind, I was faster than the guy who finished fifth. I just couldn't get around him. Whether it was either way.
His defensive game was on.
We had a good battle. We both made the feature. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Good run from both of us. We didn't wreck each other.
Make sure you go watch the replays on Flow Racing to see that.
Heat 1.
Yep, Heat 1 in the Legends. It was about, I want to say, an hour and a half into the actual...
No. We're the first ones to qualify.
That's right. No, sorry. I had...
No, yeah, we were right in the beginning.
That's right.
That's the intro, and we're the first race.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm thinking I had practice up there.
The Bandoleros there, but they didn't run the qualify.
Yeah, they don't qualify. No.
We were the first ones up on the racetrack.
Yeah, so the heats would have been the first thing that happens in the Flow Racing replay.
Yes. So we went and watched the Consi, which I don't usually get to do. Good race. Congrats to Kendall. Good one by everybody. Billy King, who else was in the heat, but they always, the same speed cars always put on a good race. It doesn't matter if we're half a second off the leaders. They're young, they're inexperienced, they're learning, they're trying their hardest. Great battle, great race, congrats.
And we actually had enough cars. We had 32 cars there.
So we had
an 8-car Consi.
8-car Consi.
It was basically another heat race.
Again, not bashing anybody else, but most other tracks wish they had half of our cars.
It's 8 cars is a good night for anywhere else. Yeah. And that's just, we haven't looked into the whys. It's just a fact of we have one of the largest weekly Legends series
in the country.
Yes.
I think we are the largest. I don't think we...
Like I said, I haven't looked into any numbers, so I don't want to say...
Besides a national event or a national qualifier...
Yeah, some sort of big event,
I think Riverhead Raceway has the largest car count for Legends in the country.
And it's like even...
For a weekly series.
Yes, specifically for the weekly series. And it's one of those... If I remember correctly, one of the shootouts had 54 cars.
Yeah.
We had that...
When I took 300, we had almost 50 cars.
Yeah, and it's just one of those. This is the humble brag of, if you want to test your Legends skills, Come to Riverhead. Yeah, it'll be a pain in the ass to get out here, but we'll definitely make the racing worth it.
And listen, and when the invaders do come for the ISO 300, these are top tier teams.
Absolutely.
These aren't just like we are. Father, daughter, we'll get an old car, we'll see what we can do. These are professional race teams that come together and they race a lot of different tracks. So they are well equipped, they are top teams. So anybody who makes a comment is like, oh, the local guys got beat. Listen,
yes, because the professionals came. It's like when the Wheel and Modified Tour guys come out. You don't expect the local guy to win. They might put up a good showing, but the professionals are going to do their job.
There's a difference in equipment.
Mindset.
Just a different level.
But anyways, so we qualified for the feature. We're scheduled to start 21st. I believe that is, you actually started where you were supposed to.
I started in the back half of the field. They don't really care where we start back.
No, they don't.
Listen, there's 26 of us out there.
The only time they care is when somebody's a lap and they have to reassign you after a caution. If you're the caution car, you better get to the back.
Yeah.
And you better have your radio in, because let me tell you, they are not letting that slide anymore.
No. So I guess we're going to go back to the radio checks.
I'm surprised they haven't done that this year.
They probably forgot about it.
No.
They have a lot of other things
They've been a little bit chaotic upstairs. I do know that. I can verify that they've been a little
again,
chaotic.
We're
But
not complaining about Riverhead officiating.
oh no.
We completely understand.
This is a warning for the racers.
Yes.
Get your shit together or get out. But anyways, so
we got into the feature. Very happy with how I ran the feature. Now, I'm not the type of guy who was like, oh, I started 21st, I got a top 10 and said, listen, if I maintain, and like I said, there's 20 cars within a half a second of each other now.
that are 0.3 faster than you on average. So
I'm creeping up to them. So, again, racing is completely different than doing hot laps or practice laps.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you're running around with, you can't run your preferred line to get up to the wall. You're trying to pass somebody, trying to get off of somebody, So anyway, I kept up with the field. I kept up with the cars in front of me. So that is good progress for me. I have a car where I could put it anywhere. Still don't know the limit of where I could be and how fast I could go in and stuff like that. So I kept up with the field. I wasn't one of those guys that kind of like, oh, there goes the field. Let me look in my mirror and here comes the leaders, which I was anyway.
But with 3 laps to go.
Or
5 laps to go is when I think they finally caught you, because you did finish 1 lap down technically.
Yes.
But
once the leaders, again, when these cars spread out single file, some side by side, when you're running 13.5-second laps throughout the field average, and you're a half a second off the leader, it doesn't take long for the lead guy to catch up to the field.
Here's another perspective. We put at most 10 cars on the track for practice.
Yeah.
And we try and spread y'all out.
Yeah, well, we're stupid. We don't spread out.
No. But, you very rarely have people passing, again, depending on who starts where in that line.
Right.
But you still catch up to the back of that line in 5 laps of practice. Now we're throwing more than double the amount of cars out there, starting double file, and basically go, picture that Simpsons meme from the Asian lady. I turn now. Good luck, everybody.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happens.
So, again, it's a quarter-mile track. We take up a straightaway once we figure out. Once we get going, by the time the back guys get going, the front guys are into turn 1.
Yeah.
So you're half a lap behind the front runners when we start getting going. So anyway, just trying to get people perspective of 26 Legends cars on a quarter-mile track. It's chaos.
Yes.
Because you don't even have that in the shootouts.
No.
You don't have 26 cars around their quarter mile.
No, I think you have 20 at most.
In their feature.
But they also split it up based off of divisions.
Well, which I understand. But we have 26 cars in our feature every week.
Yes. Yes.
So go look at Atlanta, go look at Charlotte, go look at your local quarter-mile track.
Any of that summer shootout, the cookout, summer shootout,
just so how many cars do they have in their feature? Now imagine 26. So anyway, so the leaders did catch up, but I was with 2 other guys, and we all kind of just scooted out of the way and let the leaders go by, and then we were running around not the infield, but trying to have our own race within a race.
But just off the racing surface type thing?
So this way, because we had an incident where a lapper got involved in determining the crash at the start-finish line. Anyway.
That was the one from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so...
So you stayed out of there was a couple of multi-car incidents.
Yes, that I was not involved with, but I was there.
I see you tootle on through my, oh, well, there's my car. And then you had a couple of chaos.
The spin where I had the leaders coming up on.
Yeah. Well, that again, you couldn't really do much about that. You were either going to you picked a direction because it's either you're going to get run into by the car who just spun, or you make evasive maneuvers. You made evasive maneuvers, and luckily the leaders didn't run you over.
Right. They all kind of went up.
And everybody went up, but the caution came out right at that point, so whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
So you stayed only one lap down, and you ended the race with you finished the race in 20th, but then due to some
a disqualification,
you gained a position and you finished 19th.
So 19th. So, which is exactly where my driving capability is where I'm at.
And even looking back at practice, I know I don't bother telling you like where you are overall in speed.
No, it doesn't matter.
But you are 20 to 25th speed wise. So you're right where you're supposed to be.
And I know it's me, it's not the car.
No, because if we took, Riley, Marsh, Ferrugia, any of the guys who are regularly up in the top 5, Braun, threw them in the car.
Oh, it'd be at least 2 to 3 times faster.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would be vying for top 10, top 5 finishing position.
Absolutely.
So, this is what happens. You have to forgive him. He is old, and his reaction times aren't quite what they used to be. So, it's going to take him a little longer to figure things out.
And to that point, we're going to go back onto the subject of seat time.
Oh, yeah. No, so Speed Hub has the handy-dandy tool of I can see exactly how long he's spent in the car, like how many laps and the total time he's been green flag racing.
Right.
I think maybe we've hit 14 hours at this point.
Exactly.
Since he started.
Years.
Since he started.
In 4 years.
It maybe I don't remember if that's just no, that's got to be the whole time. That's got to be total.
Yeah, if you have laps, any type of lap I'm on the track racing.
Well, I just don't remember if I had done all time or if that was just but regardless, it's it's a whole day, but the actual on track time is very little comparatively.
Okay, we'll take 6 laps, 7 laps.
2 minutes. Your practice sessions are 2 minutes if there's no caution. Yeah. And that's when if I start filming from when you drive out onto the track.
Right. So you have your one warm-up up to go over to check the
transponders.
Until, track is green, until the caution. It's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know
if
what I'm saying? It's not like I'm out there for half an hour.
No.
So, but overall, it was a good race weekend. I had my 2 goals. And, one is always to make the feature. That's racing-wise. I'm not talking about wrecks or anything like that. That's, raced my way into the feature, which we seem to be right there, that we are one of the cars that,
It's not I have to hope that there are, cars in your speed bracket that you can stay ahead of. It is, you have a shot at actually passing cars now in the heat races.
The heat races and stuff like that. And to stay on the lead lap on the feature.
Which, again, if it's a green flag run, no, and it is.
It's a goal, but at this point, if you start 15th on back,
you better have a damn fast car that you can make your way through the field in order to try and stay on the lead lap.
Let's see.
No, top 15 is...
Right, I think it was up to 17th? Was a lap down?
16th or 17th, yeah.
So, if you're not in the top 15...
And it goes green for long stretches of time. That's the thing. If you have lots of single car spins, cautions that restack everybody up.
For 20 laps, 1 or 2 cautions, I'm on the lead lap. If it goes 15, 16 straight green flag laps,
you're in danger of going
down.
And even
if I don't get around the cars that I think that I'm faster at.
And it's like that. I think opening night, you technically finished on the lead lap, but they were on your bumper.
The leader passed me just after the start finish line.
Yeah. It was. You were about to get lapped at the checkered flag.
No, it's.
And then, again, that is green flag laps with.
So
4/10, half a second.
We're gonna go a little more in depth, and then we'll be done for this video.
Yeah, because we're at 25 minutes at this point.
I don't know if we have an official track record for a Legends car at Riverhead.
There is, somebody has that number, and I have just not.
The leader of this past the leader of the race hit a 13-1.
13-183.
Okay, that is insane for this field of legend cars. Granted, he's a very talented driver. He's in great equipment, but still.
And even like the next like 3 cars were hitting low 13-3s, high 13-2s.
I'm sure.
In the future.
Yeah.
In the future.
So, you know, if I'm at 13-8, 13-9, you know.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but this is you go back to your grade school. If 2 trains leave the station at the same time, and one is traveling 60 miles an hour, and one is traveling 61.
I know we always go over this, but I don't. Most people will comprehend it and realize it, but when you have 25, 26 cars within 1 second, you know, people say, "Oh, yeah, you know," no, it's when you look at a time, the qualifying speeds at any big race, Martinsville for NASCAR, 43 cars within a second and a half of each other on a half mile.
NASCAR is the perfect thing, especially if you watch their qualifying when they have those ghost cars, so you can visually see what it is, like a bumper
at 0.3 of a second.
Yeah,
you know, it blows my mind that as diverse as our driving skills are in our division, that we are so close.
And it's not even that. You know how, like, NASCAR, there's an age range that typically you're like, yeah, for the most part, once you hit 40, you're on your way out.
Yes.
With the Legends cars, we have 10-year-old kids. How old
12.
is...
12 is...
Reed? Reed is 12?
Reed is 12.
So we have a kid as young as 12, and then we have the old fogies over here who are in the 60s. So, like, that age range, and they're all on the track at the same time.
Yes.
So,
and the 12-year-old has more racing experience than I do.
Yeah, because he raced bandos, and some of the kids, and I'm calling them kids like I have.
They're all kids.
They are, and granted, most of them are maybe 10 years, like 5 to 10 years younger than me, and I'm like, no, children. But they grew up in go-karts.
Go-karts.
They grew up. They probably were the ones who had the little, you know, RC power wheels.
Well, no, they went into real go-karts at a young age. And
I had a power wheel and I drove it up a tree. And then, so
watch out.
That's why I'm not allowed to have a big truck.
You know, as somebody who started in his late 50s, as far as, you know, racing cars, I've always been a race fan. It's, you don't realize how much it takes to be in the mindset to race when you never have done it.
Yeah, it's like with any sport.
Like you're cruising down. It's not like you're racing the guy next to you on the Long Island Expressway, and you're looking at him like, I'm doing 70, you're doing 69, I'm going to pass you. No. This is split-second decision. It's like with any sport, it has that zone that you get into. Yes. Mentally, you got to be
presumably
in the zone to be aware of everything that's going on. How your car is handling, where you need to be, who's around you.
I don't sports, but presumably that's how it works.
No,
Anyway,
we had a good week.
Cars
up on Jack stands for maintenance.
Obviously. Yeah, this is not that anything's broken. This is, he likes to be fussy with bits and bobs that I don't care about.
Nuts and bolts to make sure nothing got loose. That's all.
Make sure all the welds are still intact. On that note,
Peace out.